What's going on, folks? I am Goat, and welcome to the week 3 breakdown. Holy shit, man! Another week of what the fuck, right? I mean, seriously, another week of what in the fuck have we gotten ourselves into? So I've got, in case I want to look up statistics, I've got something over this way, and then I've got my general basic notes over this way. So, God help us, man. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to put my basic notes right motherfucking here. That way I'm just looking at them. So, we had Thursday Night Football, Steelers at Browns. Truth be told, I'm going to be honest, man. I did not expect a lot out of this game in any way. And guess what? Proved positive, but my expectations were met. The Browns and the Steelers are both very stagnant offenses with pretty okay defenses. And it showed because with Mitchell Trubisky, with Mitch Trubisky at the helm of the Steelers, they are stagnant as fuck. I mean, like at this point, why not put Kenny Pickett in there? Seriously, why not give the kid a fucking shot? Because he can't possibly do any worse than fucking Trubisky. Okay, and like we'll pull up the statistics, right? Mitch Trubisky, he was 20 of 32 for 207 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. How the fuck you gonna throw for 200 fucking yards and not even pop a touchdown? Najee Harris was 15 carries for 56 yards. Jalen Warren, 4 carries for 30 yards. Chase Claypool had a singular run for 11 yards. Trubisky had 2 fucking save my ass dashes for 7 yards. I mean, this team just can't seem to get anything done. You know, one of Trubisky's runs was a fucking touchdown. Najee Harris got their other touchdown. Then they had a field goal. Okay? I mean, it was literally a fucking game. What the fuck is this stupid ass thing doing? Do your job. Sorry. The Steelers lost to the Browns 17-29. The Browns weren't amazing. You know, they just weren't great, but they were okay enough. So, I mean, this is basically just another round of 2 stagnant offenses fighting each other against 2 pretty good, good to really good defenses. And the Steelers are just the worst offense. So that's that. And it's really sad, man, because I like the Steelers organization. I've said this before, so I want to see them succeed. And as of yet, not so much. So the next game, I was very interested in this because I really wanted to see just how for real the Bills were. Okay, and how potentially for real the Dolphins were. And I'm going to tell you, okay, if I had one question mark to put on the Bills, it comes down to the running game. Okay, if I had any question marks whatsoever to the Buffalo Bills, it comes down to their rushing attack. Because right now it's like they don't have one. Okay, unless it's Josh Allen, they don't have one. And it's a really frightening perspective on a team that's this goddamn good. Like, this team, hold on, we're going to go to statistics here, okay? Because this is fucked, okay? This is absolutely fucked. I get that Josh Allen is a very talented quarterback. I think if he's not in the Super Bowl this year, it's coming soon. Like, Bills Mafia is going to get their motherfucking wish with the Super Bowl coming soon. Now, are they going to win it? I have no idea. If they keep continuing at the route that they're going, no, they're not. Okay? But a lot of people are going to take away from this game the butt punt and then the explosive offensive coordinator at the end of the game for the Bills. Like, that motherfucker destroyed the coordinator booth. It's fucking hilarious. It's at least 7-second tirade of insanity. Now, I've said it time and time and time again that if you make a quarterback throw 50 times or more in a game, that's not a formula for winning. Okay, you have to have a balanced attack. Now, their idea of a balanced attack is for the quarterback to throw 42 of 63 attempts for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. But also the quarterback was the leading rusher, 8 carries for 47 yards. The next closest was Zach Moss, their running back, 4 carries for 46 yards. And we're talking about 100-degree heat for a team that's from, Northwestern fucking New York, so they're already not really accustomed to that so much. Like fucking Diggs was on the sideline cramping up like a motherfucker. They have multiple players that kept going out with cramps. Singletary had 9 rushes for 13 yards. I mean, the Bills have a massive problem. It's like basically Josh Allen is the crutch that's holding that team up. That's not good. You cannot have a quarterback throwing the ball 63 fucking times in a game and have him be your leading rusher and expect the team to succeed. Okay? That's not a thing. That is not something that should be happening at all, ever. You should not ever make your quarterback throw the ball 63 fucking times and then also, by the way, have him be the leading rusher with an expectation of success. Now, the Dolphins won this game 21-19. And the truth of it is the Dolphins looked like basically ass up until the fourth quarter. So the Bills actually respectively controlled this game up until the fourth quarter. And they almost, man, they were this fucking close to coming out with a win. It just came down to their timing, and it was just piss poor. The receiver didn't get himself out of bounds, or the tight end, I think it was a receiver, that caught the final pass. And so he's trying to run the ball out to the ref so they can set the ball, and the clock literally just expired, and their offensive coordinator lost their fucking minds. Because it looked like the Dolphins had just put this game away with the butt punt and the safety. I can't even get over. I've never seen anything like that before. A blocker literally blocks backwards into the punter, into the end zone, and basically takes a football right up his ass crack. It's fucking amazing to watch on national television, I gotta tell you. But yeah, interesting game, man. Interesting game. The Bills just basically controlled the shit out of the Dolphins for 3/4 of this game, and then the Dolphins just fucking let loose on them. Which, the score was 21-19, so it's not like either team was really, like, superbly amazing. Like, yeah, Allen had 400 yards, but for fuck's sake, I mean, he threw the ball 63 fucking times, completed 42 of them, I think I just said. So it's like, okay. That's no bueno, man. You can't, no. If they'd have got that ball out of bounds, that would have been a win for the Buffalo Bills. They'd still be fucking, top tier, rolling on top of the fucking pile on top of everybody. But guess who it is? It's the Dolphins. Now, are the Dolphins for real? I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't know. Do they got the guts to do it? Yeah. Do they got the drive to do it? Yeah, but I don't know. I need to see more out of the Dolphins. Now, them going up against what I consider to be probably, if not the best, tied for the best team in the AFC right now. Man, I gotta tell you, the Dolphins coming back against that team and winning that game says a lot about their grit. And if they can maintain that, they're going to carry a really good season. Because the Bills right now are what everybody's got to pass through to win. And I think Miami stepped up to that plate and had a hell of a time making adjustments, and they finally figured it out at the end of the game, which is, I mean, that's all that matters, is winning the fucking game. So there you go. So the next game, Cincinnati Bengals at the New York Jets. I'm just going to say this, 2 words, no surprise. Bengals won 27-12 over the Jets. Jets exposed for exactly what they are. Salty, but not capable of finishing fucking games sometimes. It's just what they do. Sorry. Let's be honest. Okay, it's what they do. Next game, Raiders at Titans. Man, 1 2-point conversion away from going to overtime. Story of the Raiders season thus far. I'm, again, going to say this, okay? I think Josh McDaniels he's got the mind to be a really good coach, but he hasn't been able to hack it yet. And he goes, like, this is the thing, okay? The Raiders were in the playoffs last year. Barely, but in the playoffs. The Raiders had a really decent roster last year to get themselves to the playoffs. And they just couldn't capitalize. And the whole thing with the Raiders is they were so up and down because of the John Gruden situation and having an interim head coach. And they persevered through all that to get themselves to the playoffs. So with them adding all this extra crap to the team, Davante Adams and, just Davante Adams and a new head coach, that alone. and a very, very intelligent head coach to boot. You would think that the Raiders roster, coupled with the addition of, Josh McDaniels as a head coach, and then adding a super high profile fucking receiver into the mix, would really make them a dominating fucking team. And as of yet, they are anything but. Like, I think Devontae is actually probably regretting going for the money and not just staying at fucking Green Bay at this point. I think Aaron Rodgers is probably also regretting that too, but whatever. I don't know what the fuck to say about the Raiders. Like, they're not giving up, but they're not playing good. Especially when the Titans just got fucking demolished last week. And then this week, they beat the Raiders. That tells you the state of the Raiders. I mean, like, my note here specifically says the Raiders are a mess and need Jesus quickly. I'm not kidding you. That is what is typed here. It's legit. This fucking team needs to fix their shit right fucking now, or they're going to be out of the AFC West very quickly, and they're going to be out of the playoffs very quickly, because the whole AFC is going to run the fuck away from them to keep this shit up. So, the Saints at the Panthers. Just bruh. Herein lies my problem, okay? The Panthers aren't amazing, and the Saints defense allowed them to score 22. Now, normally when you hold a team to 22 and you have some of the weapons that you have on your team with the Saints, you would have the expectation to win. But there's some problems, okay? Jameis Winston is not really performing exceptionally well. Alvin Kamara all of a sudden is like a fumble machine. I don't know what the fuck is going on there, but that's no bueno. Saints lost 14-22 underneath the Panthers. It's, man, that just look rough, okay? The Saints offense looks rough. That is my note, okay? Next game, Lions at Vikings. The Lions, even though they lost 24-28, the Lions are looking feisty as fuck. They really are, man. They are staying in games. They are just, they're showing some real fucking grit. And I think if they, again, I keep saying this about the Lions, if they can just clean up a few fucking problems here and there, I think they would be so much better off, man. I really do. I think that there is so much potential. Just not quite there yet. Not quite there. And I did kind of skip a game there. Ravens at Patriots. What's the big takeaway with Ravens and Patriots? Well, the Patriots were actually in a game doing decent. Okay. But the Ravens won 37-26. Really not shocked with that one. What's killing me with the Ravens this season isn't their offensive productivity. Obviously, by scoring 37 points against a Bill Belichick defense, that says a lot. Because Belichick has kind of had the Ravens number for a fucking minute, and they went in and definitely did exactly what they needed to do on offense. What's bothering me about the Baltimore Ravens right now is the fact that their defense is really, really kind of slacking at the end of games and really letting teams try to get back into games, and that's not what you want, man. You don't want that at all. No. No, that's a big no. And I'm really surprised to see the Raiders defense struggling the way that they are. Or not the Raiders, the Ravens defense. I don't know what the fuck I said, but I'm really surprised to see the Ravens defense struggling the way that they are at the end of games. I don't know, it's weird. So yeah, we talked about the Lions and the Vikings. So the Eagles at the Commanders. Everybody was so high on the Commanders. Oh, look at them go. No, look, the Commanders are a fucking joke. Okay, they really are. Carson Wentz has always been much like Daniel Jones, and Sam Darnold and a few other quarterbacks. Drew Lock, Geno Smith. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. Colin Kaepernick. There's a lot. Fuck Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about quarterbacks that have been highly overrated that have shown their true colors. And I'm sorry, Carson Wentz has just, in my opinion, never been this amazing standout quarterback. And they literally went out of their way to go pick him up after the Colts dropped him like a bad fucking habit and picked him up as their starter. And guess what? They went against an Eagles team that's looking very fucking good this year. And that was pretty much, that's all she wrote, man. Eagles beat the Commanders 24-8. Like, derp. Now, I got a couple of shocker games in here. Next one, Chiefs at Colts. Shocker game. Man, shocker game. Hometown team, baby. And guess what? They deserve to lose. I'm going to be honest. This would have been a Chiefs win. This really would have. But the way that they played was pathetic. Defensively, I think the Chiefs did a pretty good fucking job the entirety of the game. Because this game would have ended as a 17-13? If it wouldn't have been for what I consider to be kind of a highly judgmental call, because these guys are all adults. They all talk shit to each other all the time on the field. And Chris Jones getting in the face of fucking, Matt Ryan. I don't know what the hell he said, but it was obviously bad enough with a ref standing right fucking there, which, again, a tenured defensive lineman with a fucking umpire standing right fucking there. And you're going to say some shady ass shit enough to where this motherfucker throws a goddamn personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct flag. So whatever the fuck you said to Matt Ryan, man, this loss is on Chris Jones at the end of the day. But this loss really comes down to the special teams were fucking horrendous, okay? Because 2 missed extra points and a missed field goal by poor fucking Amendola, which, I mean, I'm sorry, all the Jets fans are going, bro, this is why we ain't got him no more. I mean, legit, like, I don't know what the hell the Chiefs were thinking picking up Amendola, but it's whatever. But you figure the game ended, Colts winning over the Chiefs 20-17 at the end of the game. The Colts won 20-17. There was just enough time. I think it was like a minute 13 or 56. I don't even remember how much time there was actually. There wasn't a ton of time left. And it ended up, a deflection off of Juju Smith-Schuster, and, the fucking Colts recovered it, and it was an interception, and that was that. So it was a forced ball, kind of an awkward throw, no bueno. But the way that they fucking played offensively in the first half was atrocious. It was just rough. Special teams, muff punt return for a fucking touchdown, which was the first fucking score that the fucking Colts got. And I think they had gotten 2 field goals after that. Like, they were not productive at all. And then at the end of the game, the drive was dead. It was going to be Chiefs fucking ball, and the Chiefs were basically just going to be able to run out the fucking game and call it good and walk home with, not feeling amazing about the game, but at least happy that they got a win. And then Chris Jones had to go mouthing off. But I mean, things are seemingly dysfunctional. You've got Patrick Mahomes, who's becoming a very savvy quarterback. He's a little quick on the trigger at times, but then he's also kind of bad about holding on to the ball at times. But he's got a lot of juice, man. He's got a lot of fucking juice. He wants to fucking try to really, just kind of cut a motherfucker's throat playing a game, And the way that they ended out the first half of that game, Mahomes walking over to the sideline, basically just chewing out Eric Bieniemy about the calls, running out the clock rather than fucking, actually trying to score, at least put a field goal up or something. And the fact that Andy Reid, the head coach, had to separate the quarterback and the fucking offensive coordinator because of a disagreement in play calling says there's something definitely not right in the world of Kansas City in regards to the offensive coordinator and their star quarterback. And in the grand scheme of things, you've got to stick with the guy that you're paying millions of dollars to over a long period of time over an offensive coordinator who last year was causing problems and is now causing problems seemingly again. And it shows. That's the problem, is like there's so much talent on the roster, and it shows that there is a fucking problem just like last year. And they're going to have to sort it out. But this year, they got a fuck ton of new personnel. So it's like it's even harder than last year for the Chiefs. On the other side, the Colts look like shit. Okay? They didn't look any better than they have in the week, in the couple of weeks past. The only difference is that they capitalized off of a fucking muffed punt. Because if it wasn't for the muffed punt, more than likely they would have had 2 fucking field goals. Okay. If the Chiefs could have actually made 2 extra points and a field goal, they still couldn't, the Colts still wouldn't have won this game. It still would have been out of reach because it would have been, the Chiefs would have finished the game 22-20. So, regardless of what the fuck happened, this was just a hot, steaming pile of shit. Okay? That's really what it was. The Chiefs fucked up special teams and offense and in one blunderous defensive play. So the Colts don't look good. I was expecting the Colts to look really good, and they don't. They just capitalized at the right times. Just saying. Texans at Bears. The Bears are right now are week to week, man. I have no fucking clue what the hell to make of the Bears. It's like 1 minute the Bears look like they could be legit. The next minute they're getting their doors blown off. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this team. They've got some talent. They've got potential. Like, I don't think Justin Fields is a punk of a quarterback, but I do think he is still very green. I don't think that he's got a proper structure behind him to really get him calm the fuck down. Truthfully. So, but in this game, kudos to the Bears for coming out with a win. Texans 20, Bears 23. Just a close game of 2, in my opinion, mediocre teams. It's okay, though. The Texans are still recouping from a 5-year deficit of what in the fucking hell their old coach slash frickin' general manager did to that damn team, and all their draft capital problems and salary cap problems. Like, I wasn't expecting the Texans to be a legitimate contender until at least 2024, and surprisingly, they tried to come back and be a semi-contender at the end of last year, and they're coming into this year trying to be a contender. So kudos to that organization for really trying to do something with what little they got, man. And then the Bears, they're just trying to figure out their identity, if I really had to put a finger on it. Okay? So the next one, shocker game. I absolutely was not expecting 2 things out of this game. Jaguars at Chargers. For one, I was not expecting the Jaguars to win. And for 2, I was certainly not expecting to see Justin Herbert on that field in pads, dressed and ready to play. That is so stupid. Okay? I get it, man. There's going to be Chargers fans. Oh, he's a competitor. You need to let the man play. No, you need to let this motherfucker heal. This guy is the future face of you. This guy is the future face and talent of your team. Okay? This guy is the future of your fucking team. He's a smart, savvy, athletic, very talented quarterback. Even if it means it costs you 1 season to sit this guy for half a year to let him heal properly, you do that, okay? Because you don't jeopardize your long-term future because the guy wants to fucking play, okay? You just don't. The whole detached cartilage on the rib cage thing, that's no bueno. You don't just stick a fucking flak jacket on the dude and throw him the fuck in the game because obviously he got hit and he was in just gut-wrenching fucking pain. But then on the other side of this, the Chargers defense is absolutely no punk. The game with the Chiefs was proof fucking positive, okay? That Chargers defense is no goddamn punk. And I'm meaning to tell you right motherfucking now, the fucking Jaguars balled the fuck out on the Chargers. Big time. Just like all of a sudden, the Jaguars, much like the Bears, they've got the potential. They just got to put it together. And in this game, holy Jesus Christ, did they put it together? Because the Jaguars put up 38 fucking points on the fucking Chargers defense. And the Chargers only eked out 10 goddamn points because they put this busted up fucking Herbert in the game. Chase Daniels could have sailed just as decently through this game. And at least with Chase Daniel, you know what you're getting. Little short guy. Pretty accurate, but he's a little antsy. But you would have had Herbert sitting on the sideline healing. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. I get he's competitive, but for Christ's sake, man, you can't potentially sacrifice your future for a career-ending potential injury or, worse, God help him if he fucking got all screwed up from this. It's just dumb. It's just absolutely reckless on the coaching staff letting him play. I cannot possibly fathom how he got medically cleared. But yeah, Jaguars went into LA and blew the fucking doors off the Chargers. just absolutely fucking smoke them like a shit team. And I honestly, that makes the Jaguars, if they can maintain it, scary. Can they maintain it? Probably not yet. But Trevor Lawrence looked fucking good, man. Oh my god, dude. He looks sharp as hell. Everything that the Chiefs weren't is what the Jaguars were. Let's put it that way. The Chiefs were like a dull butter knife, and the Jaguars were like a fucking sharp ass fucking machete. Okay? And they cut right through the Chargers. So that's that. Rams at Cardinals. This is another no surprise fucking game for me. The Cardinals just look out of sorts. The Rams got a feel-good game out of this one because it's a divisional game and they got the win. Do I think the Rams looked amazing? No. Do I think they looked improved? Yes. Do I think the Cardinals are beginning to look like a lost cause unless they can fucking anchor, Kyler Murray down and calm that little bastard down? Oh my god, yes. I mean, the defense did their job. They held a high-flying fucking offense to 20 fucking points. What the fuck else can you expect out of them? The Rams are they've got a great roster. They really do. They've got a great fucking roster. So when your defense does its job and holds the fucking, a great roster to 20 fucking points, that's pretty goddamn spectacular. The problem is that the Rams also have a really good defense, and they just basically bullied the goddamn Cardinals, kind of like the Chiefs did. So, just saying. Next game. Packers at Buccaneers. Now, here's where I have a little bit of a hiccup, right? Like, a lot of people were making excuses for the Buffalo Bills and the heat and, coming from the northern end of the country up by Canada and, just not adjusted and acclimated to that sort of temperature. And you know what? The temperature was almost the same in Tampa Bay compared to Miami. It was a little bit warmer in Miami, but not much. The humidity was just as bad. There was a fucking hurricane. There's a hurricane bearing down towards Tampa Bay as we speak. And yeah, that's no bueno, dude. That's no bueno. No bueno at all. Guess what, though? The northern team in the Packers-Buccaneers game won. In ugly style, but they won. Packers beat the Buccaneers 14-12. This, in my opinion, is not two amazing defenses playing each other because the Buccaneers defense is kind of beat up and hit or miss, and the Packers defense is just a little sketchy at best, right? It's my personal opinion. But this was really two struggling offenses. I mean, like my note says, what a shit game. Packers beat up on the Packers just beat up on an injured shitty Packers can beat up on injured shitty teams, but can't necessarily win the good ones when they need to. It's kind of the truth. Guess what? Next game, Falcons at Seahawks. Guess what the Falcons did? They won a game, 27-23. They basically showed everybody exactly what the Seahawks are. A mess. Geno Smith is not the future of this fucking team. He's just not. I literally saw a legitimate post from NFL on Facebook that said, these young quarterbacks are showing what the future of the NFL is going to be. And it showed a picture of Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Justin Herbert and Geno Smith. Geno Smith has been in the league for a decade. And he's been a shit quarterback. There's a reason why he was a backup to fucking Russell Wilson prior to this year. And he almost lost the job to Drew Lock. Come the fuck on, dude. The Falcons are a feisty, interesting team. Do I think they're going to do anything worth a fuck throughout the season? I don't honestly know yet. We're in week 3. I don't want to go overreaction with this. But again, there's a lot to cinch up with Atlanta. But I think that the Seahawks are, at this point, looking like a lost cause. I think the Seahawks are going to be going into a full rebuild next year and potentially a new coach. It's possible. I don't know. Next game. What a fucking joke, dude. 49ers at Broncos. Oh my fucking God. What a shit show of a game. Okay? Like, my notes say just trash. 49ers offense was out of whack and the Broncos offense was a mess. This was a purely defensive game, and the Broncos won off of some dumb shit. Okay? They just won off of some dumb shit. Like, I don't, as much as I want to say, you know, oh my God, the 49ers have got such a good roster. How in the fuck did they come out of this losing? Well, I also think about the entirety of the Jimmy Garoppolo issues, right? Like, some of the team has changed, but a lot of it's the same. So some of this can go on Jimmy Garoppolo, but at the same fucking time, you know, every year teams come up with new plays. You can't just go, you know, stagnant and come in with the same old, because it just, you end up getting your ass beat that way. So they come up with a new playbook. They modify plays. Some stuff stays the same, some stuff gets different. Jimmy Garoppolo did not participate with the team at all in the offseason. During training camp, he did not take a snap, okay? He didn't even have access to the playbook because they had him on the table for trade, okay? They had no intention of putting the playbook in front of a player that's more than likely not going to be on the team. So yeah, Garoppolo's actual first start of the season, and he didn't look very sharp, right? Like, he just didn't look very sharp at all. And between Hackett and Russell Wilson, like, here's the only thing I think I could say with absolute proclivity and positivity at this point, okay? Russell Wilson looks like a guy lost in somebody else's game, okay? Up until the fourth quarter. Like, the fourth quarter, all of a sudden, we kind of got a glimpse of the old Russell Wilson. Ad lib, move around, rush a little, you know, keep plays going, keep the game alive. But for just over 3/4 of this game, the Broncos look like they were playing, you know, Hackett's game plan, and it's not working. You know, and this game, I think they had a guy coming in helping supervise the play calling, if I remember correctly from what I was hearing. And even then, it looked like trash. Like, if the Broncos want to find success, and funny enough, they're tied for first in the AFC West right now with the Chiefs because the Chiefs bumbled and lost to the Colts. So the Chiefs are 2-1 and the Broncos are 2-1. But are the Broncos a good 2-1? No. Are the Chiefs a good 2-1? If they clean up the dumb shit that happened in this last game, very much so. You know, are the Chargers a really good 1-2? Yeah, they are. You know, is the Raiders the only legitimate 0-win team? Yep. Have they earned that spot? Yep. But are the Broncos an actual real threat to Kansas City at this point? I don't believe they are. I don't. Unless they finally let the guy that they just paid like, what, $230 million to show the fuck up and actually play the game the way he knows how to play it. I think if they work around Russell Wilson instead of trying to force Russell Wilson to do what they want him to do, I think they're going to find much more success, and I think that offense will be much more dangerous to deal with. But up until they do that, no. Like, every post-game anything with Russell Wilson sounds like a guy like making excuses and almost like a fucking, you know, a quarterback cheerleader at this point. It really does. It's bad, man. Like, I think if he could honestly step up and just be honest about it, he'd probably be like, bro, we're fucked. You know, I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe he's just that happy. I don't know. So, final game of the week, Monday Night Football, Cowboys at Giants. Cooper Rush versus Daniel Jones. I hate using that particular thing because it's not them working against each other. It's not. Here's what I can say. Okay, the Cowboys defense did exactly what they should have done. Okay, they got ahead of them, and they maintained staying the fuck ahead of them as best as they could. Not a high-scoring affair. Okay, it just wasn't. You know, Cowboys 23, Giants 16. But it was enough. What really came out for me is that the Cowboys have just enough to stay in games if they try. Cooper Rush actually looks fairly poised back there. In my opinion, this game still looks better than Dak Prescott, at least as far as how Dak started out the season before he was injured. Daniel Jones looks as jittery as a fucking June bug, and for good reason. Multiple years now, this guy has not had a good offensive line. It's no wonder the fucking dude gets hurt all the goddamn time. I mean, legit. How the fuck? You got to keep your quarterback clean and let him make decisions, right? You can't just have him flying all over the fucking place and running for his goddamn life all the time. It looks like Mahomes and, when the Chiefs played fucking the Buccaneers, in the Super Bowl. They're just running for his fucking life the entire game and just praying like hell. The only difference is at least the Giants have Saquon Barkley and a hell of a running game. It's the only real thing that kept them in this game. So, week 3, absolute disastrous clusterfuck for quite a few teams. Like, thank God I wasn't doing a pool, because yes, I had the Browns beating the Steelers. I had the Bills beating the Dolphins. Wrong there. I did have the Bengals beating the Jets. I had the Raiders beating the Titans with a feel-good game. I had the Panthers beating the Saints. I've been right there. I had the Patriots barely eking out a win on the Ravens. Yeah, because Belichick's defense usually is pretty good against Lamar so far, and not this time. I had the Lions taking over the Vikings. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, I have faith that they're trying to work shit out. Definitely had the Eagles smoking the Commanders. I had the Chiefs beating the Colts. I was wrong there. I had the Texans beating the Bears. Wrong there. Had the Chargers beating the shit out of the Jaguars. Horribly wrong there. Had the Rams beating the Cardinals. Yeah. I actually had the Bucks, even though beat to shit. I had the Bucks beating the Packers because Aaron Rodgers does not look fucking comfortable with his receiving core. Had the Falcons beating the Seahawks. I had the 49ers smoking the fucking Broncos, and then I had the Giants beating the Cowboys. And yeah, I'd have been on the back end of some bad fucking picks there. Boy. But I mean, anybody trying to do just general win-loss picks, in like company pools and things like that, because a lot of company pools don't necessarily do fantasy football. It's very popular. But some companies, even some I've worked for in the past, have usually just done win-loss picks, and whoever takes the week on the win-loss is, weekly pot winner. How would you judge these games? Like, you can tell me in the comments, okay? Tell me who you think's winning these next games. You don't have to put the winners and losers. Dolphins at Bengals. Vikings at Saints. Seahawks at Lions. Jets at Steelers, Bears at Giants, Titans at Colts, Chargers at Texans, Browns at Falcons, Commanders at Cowboys, Jaguars at the Eagles, Bills at the Ravens, Cardinals at the Panthers, Broncos at the Raiders, Patriots at the Packers, Chiefs at the Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football, and then the Rams at the 49ers for Monday Night Football. Now, I'll tell you mine. They're probably going to be wrong. I'm going to say Dolphins take the Bengals. I'm going to say Vikings take the Saints. I'm going to say Lions beat the Seahawks. Steelers beat the Jets. Barely. That's a real close one, because I think the Jets could very easily outplay the Steelers, but truth be told, I think the Steelers defense is just good enough to hold the Jets down. So I'm going to say Steelers over Jets. I think Giants are going to beat the Bears. Titans at Colts, man. It's like crab versus crap. I'm going to say Titans over the Colts. If the Chargers play like they did for the next in this last game for the next game, I'm actually going to take the Texans over the Chargers. But no, I'm going to take the Chargers over the Texans, eking out a win. I really am. I'm probably going to be wrong about that one, but I'm going to take Chargers over the Texans. Browns at Falcons. Falcons. I think Falcons are taking that one. I don't like, as good as the Browns front line is, the secondary is questionable. And the Browns' offense is just kind of meh. I don't know what to expect week out of week, so I think the Falcons are going to eke out a win on them. I really do. Cowboys at Commanders, I think Cowboys are taking that one. Eagles at Jaguars. Fuck me, man. Who knows? The Eagles look really good, and all of a sudden the Jaguars look really good. But the Eagles have been more consistent, so I'm going to stick with the Eagles on this one. Being at home, I'm going to take the Eagles in this one. But there's a good possibility that's a massive question mark if the Jags do anything like they did to the Chargers. Bills at Ravens. I think Bills are taking that one. Cardinals at Panthers. I think Cards are probably going to win that one because I think the Panthers are still sorting shit out, but I do think the Panthers have a chance in that game. Broncos at Raiders. I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one. I think the Raiders are finally going to get their first win of the season. I think they're going to be home. They're going against a stagnant offense of the Broncos right now, unless they finally let Russell Wilson loose and they look at their game tape and go, my God, he actually knows what the fuck he's doing. I think the Raiders have a very good chance of actually winning this game because the Raiders can do one thing that the Broncos can't, and that's put fucking points on the board. Patriots at Packers. Oh, man. Oh, God, that's a toughie. That's a toughie because you got two stagnant offenses against two okay defenses. I'm going to take the Packers. Chiefs at Buccaneers. Given how beat up the Buccaneers are, I got a feeling the Chiefs are usually pretty good at recouping, especially as of the last 2 or 3 years. Chiefs are usually pretty good about recouping stupid stuff, and that's a whole lot of what the fuck happened in the Colts game was stupid stuff. So I'm going to take the Chiefs over the Buccaneers, but I think it's going to be a close game. And then the Rams at the 49ers. I think if they get a lot of reps in with Garoppolo, that they're going to make the Rams' life very interesting. And I have a feeling that the 49ers have an opportunity to upset the Rams. So I'm going to take the 49ers. So you guys tell me in the comments, man. What do you think? You tell me what you think about Week 4's schedule. You tell me who you think is going to win. You've just heard my picks. You guys tell me. So on that note, I want to thank you very much for watching. And we'll catch you next week, guys.